This is Richard Santana, and this is All Hallows High School. Richard is suing All Hallows for giving him unconstitutional detention. The case has reached the Supreme Court, and today is oral argument day. All oral arguments are open to the public, but seating is on a first-come, first-served basis. 2 lines form outside in front of the building, 1 line for those who wish to sit for the duration of the argument, and another who want to briefly attend. Let's pretend this is a Supreme Court. Not exactly the courtroom feel, but this will do. Here, in the front of the room, is where the justices are seated. We have 6 chairs set up, which is the minimum amount of justices the Supreme Court can have. The actual Supreme Court currently has 9. The Constitution established the Supreme Court, but left it to Congress to decide how many justices should make up the court. The Judiciary Act of 1789 set the number at 6, 1 Chief Justice and 5 Associate Justices. So here's how it goes. The Chief Justice sits in the middle of all the other justices. The other justices then sit by seniority in alternating fashion like so. The general public sits in this area. The area here to their left is where special guests are seated. Should the justice's wife or husband attend, or maybe even the president, this is where they are seated by seniority. The prosecution sits here, and the defendants sit here. And last but not least, to the right is the press seating. There are no electronic devices allowed in the Supreme Court, so they have to use old-fashioned pen and paper. To their left sits the marshal of the court. The marshal of the court acts as the bailiff. He or she controls and handles security for the Supreme Court building and for the justices personally. He or she also undertakes whatever other missions the court may require. There is also an artist seated somewhere in the press area who draws the justices from his point of view. This is the reason why 99% of the time, if you see a picture or a sketch from the Supreme Court hearing, it is probably from the left side looking at the judges. Now, let's begin. Here, Richard will await till the hearing is in session to step up and begin his 30-minute argument. In the Supreme Court, the case facts and details have already been read by the justices. So, during the hearing, the prosecution and defendants usually get bombarded with questions by the justices. This can be a little tough for litigants if they aren't prepared for it. Now, I already mentioned the marshal of the court, but he or she still has one more job left throughout all this. After 25 minutes, the marshal of the court will signal a white light to let the litigant know that he or she has 5 minutes left to speak. At the end of the 30 minutes, the marshal of the court will signal a red light. That means that your time is up. Justices usually cut you off mid-sentence at the end of your time. Our current Chief Justice Roberts, though, usually lets you finish your sentence. After both sides have had their 30-minute turns, the 9 justices dismiss themselves from the court and usually wait a day or 2 before joining again to speak about the logistics of the case. This is to avoid bias or any reactive comments at the end of any oral argument. When the justices meet again, the Chief Justice will select who writes the majority opinion. The other justices will then read that opinion and write concurring or dissenting opinions. Concurring opinions are written by justices who agree with the majority opinion, or maybe they agree but for a different reason. Dissenting opinions disagree with the majority opinion, and justices will state the reason why. A dissenting opinion is written by a justice who disagrees with the majority opinion. He or she will then state their reason for disagreeing. After all this is done, comes the vote. The decision of the case will come down to a simple majority vote amongst the judges themselves. No one else is present in the room. They aren't allowed to be there. Now, we await the decision. Now, no one really drops dead in the Supreme Court. I mean, well, I don't think it's ever happened. But what happens after the decision is made is outside of the content of this video. So, we simply won't discuss it. The Supreme Court has been around for more than 200 years and has defined and upheld laws and rulings that people may take for granted today. Everything is done in an oral argument. Justices get the information they need to make the best decision, one that will stand for decades to come and keep this country in order.